All the gun violence that has been happening over the top. This is a little bit much, and we must do something about this.
This family is torn apart.
Take your L and move on. You cannot force someone to be with you. Sometimes situations just do not work out, and maybe it may be for a reason. Hey BGU family, it's your girl Mika Samaya, and we are back for another installment of BGU News. Before we get started today, make sure you go ahead and like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to turn those notifications on so that you can stay up to date with the latest videos. Let's go ahead and get into the story for today. Today I am bringing you a devastating and very disturbing story straight out of Harlem, New York. A 31-year-old woman by the name of Shanice Young, who was almost 9 months pregnant, just returned home from her baby shower and was carrying presents from the shower into her apartment building on West 128th Street near Frederick Douglass Boulevard when her ex showed up and confronted her boyfriend at about 1:15 a.m. So according to an eyewitness who works at the building where Young resided, the gunman came in chasing the boyfriend, and then both men ran through the apartment building and out to the other side where they ended up back onto the street. It was at this point that Young intervened in between the two men in an attempt to make peace with the situation. Her angry ex-boyfriend, who appeared in a camouflage mask, shot Young once in the head. Cops responding to a report of shots fired found Young on the ground between her double-parked car and another vehicle. Police recovered 3 .40 caliber casings near the scene. An eyewitness recalled seeing one cop trying frantically to save her life. He said, "I saw them trying to resuscitate her, pumping her chest. There was a police officer who was trying so hard to save her. He was pumping and wasn't going to stop. When it was over, the officer was in the lobby with me, and he was just like, I tried. The crazy thing about this entire situation is that her 2 daughters were actually in a car, and they were able to witness the situation unfold. This is something that they will never forget, and they probably won't ever be the same after this." Young was rushed to Harlem Hospital, where she was later pronounced dead.
See that a memorial has grown outside the building with flowers and candles. Here's what law enforcement sources are telling us at this hour. The victim's name is Shanice Young, 31 years old, pregnant, coming home from her own baby shower in the early morning hours. She was with the father of her child, and they were allegedly unloading gifts from the car when the victim's ex-boyfriend appeared. Police tell us that the current boyfriend and the father of the baby chased the ex-boyfriend, but then lost him. And then that's when the ex-boyfriend shot Shanice 3 times in the head. She was killed right then and there. We're told her baby was also killed, did not survive. Folks in the neighborhood that we've spoken with say they're devastated by this news. They've contributed to the memorial. They say that Shanice was always kind and always in good spirits.
Young moved into the building where she was killed about 3 years ago to take care of her sick mother. Her mother went on to die of ovarian cancer about a year ago, and Young had been raising her 2 younger siblings along with her own 2 daughters ever since. Friends and neighbors remember Young as someone who was always eager to help them, a generous woman who would give anything to anyone in need. Community leaders have condemned the killing, calling Young's death an example of the disproportionate violence faced by Black women. In response to Young's death and a flood of other shootings, the gun violence prevention group Street Corner Resources was planning a rally that Tuesday afternoon calling for peace.
You can see dozens of people are out here just trying to support this family. We're hearing prayer. We're seeing folks hug each other just to give this family a sense of peace. They're lighting candles and leaving flowers for 2 lives lost. A mother, Shanice Young, almost 9 months pregnant, and her unborn child.
Dear Lord, we pray for this family. Be their strength, be their comfort, be their healing.
During a memorial, family and friends are praying for help, for guidance, and for gun violence to stop.
This takes all the gun violence that has been happening over the top. This is a little bit much, and we must do something about this.
This family is torn apart. Police say Young was returning home from her baby shower early Sunday morning when a fight broke out between her ex-boyfriend and the father of her unborn child. The ex allegedly pulled a gun and opened fire. A bullet hit Young in her head.
How dare someone shoot a mom with a 8.5-month pregnant baby?
Young's 2 other children witnessed the shooting, and they will never be the same. It was supposed to be a time to celebrate a new life, but now they're mourning death. Their pain is being felt throughout this entire Harlem community. Sources tell Pix 11 Young suffered years of abuse at the hands of her ex. She was finally moving on with her life, but the ex apparently could not let her go. Now police are looking for him.
Somebody know where this young man is. Let's get him off the street. It is important. It's not about, I'm not snitch. This ain't no snitching. This is taking this young man off the street.
Initially, police had no information on the suspect, but eventually released a photo and name of her ex-boyfriend. He was identified as 40-year-old Justin Soriano. Soriano managed to escape capture for 4 days until he was finally brought into custody.
An uneventful, emotionless walk of a handcuffed 40-year-old Justin Soriano, escorted by 2 detectives Thursday evening from the NYPD's 32nd Precinct Station House in Harlem. His arrest on murder charges, signaling a moment of relief for his victim's family. Soriano stands accused of shooting his pregnant ex-girlfriend, 31-year-old Shanice Young, in the head last Sunday as she returned home from her baby shower. She was 8.5 months pregnant.
I don't want him to see the light of day, you know.
At the time of the shooting, investigators say Young was trying to break up a fight between her ex-boyfriend, Soriano, and her current boyfriend, who was also the father of her unborn baby. It's unclear if the pregnant mother was the intended target, but for her father, Thurman Thomas, it really does not matter.
A person that do that ain't got no heart. They got no feelings. So
Soriano spent 4 days on the run before his arrest Thursday. Stephanie McGraw, founder of the domestic violence victim advocacy organization WARM.
What we need to do is create a policy for 3 strikes you're out domestic violence defenders registry so they can be tracked, because this guy had a serious track record of domestic violence.
For Thurman Thomas, a father in mourning, there is only one thing that matters at this moment: keeping his daughter's memory alive.
my daughter was beautiful, man. She was just the type of person that would take care of everybody. So that's what I remember about her, man. She was just giving, you know.
So let me just start off by saying that this scenario of the scorned lover who can't seem to let go is getting old. There's no reason why this woman should be dead right now. Take your L and move on. You cannot force someone to be with you. Sometimes situations just do not work out, and maybe it may be for a reason. But to pick up a gun and kill someone simply because you don't know how to regulate your emotions and accept the fact that the relationship is over, it's done, this person has moved on. How dare you take a mother away from her children? And then not to mention the fact that you did this in front of young children who now have to remember this for the rest of their lives. I really pray that this family puts these young ladies into therapy as soon as possible. As an educator who has worked with children who have witnessed murders, violence, stuff like this does not go away. And therapy has to be integrated into the situation, because no matter how you try to avoid the situation, it will manifest some way, somehow. These kids have to get into therapy as soon as possible. And then when you think about the level of intent that this man had for this situation to go down like this, you pulled up on these people at 1:15 in the morning, you chased the boyfriend down the street, through an apartment building, out back onto the street, shot 3 times, and who's to say whether or not the woman was the target? Who's to say whether or not the boyfriend was the target? Either way, you shouldn't have been there. You shouldn't have been so far out of your mind for a situation like this to happen. And now you have to spend the rest of your life in jail because of something that could have been avoided. Clearly, this woman was trying to get away from you. Not only did she put 1 restraining order out on you, not 2, but 3. 3. And the crazy thing is that this isn't a woman who, again, this is just going off of what the media is saying. This isn't a woman who was going back and forth with this man, or, you know, one day they're together, one day they're not. From what the media is saying, this woman literally was done. She moved on. She was done with the relationship, done with him as a whole, moved on, has a new partner. They're now ready to have a child together. She did everything she was supposed to do. And yet this still happened. This all goes back to even some of the cases that I do on my channel, you know, with the women. Women can do everything they're supposed to do. Get restraining orders, go to the police, move on, hide, whatever have you. And this can still happen. It's not cool. Like, people really have to learn how to control their emotions. Sometimes things just don't work out and you have to deal with it and move on. Furthermore, the relationship apparently ended because of something that you did. She didn't leave you because she didn't want to be with you. She left you because of how you treated her. The domestic violence, the infidelity. Why is it that when people do you wrong, they can't accept the fact that you don't want to deal with it anymore? The fact that you have made the decision within yourself to say, I'm done. I'm moving on with your life. I choose to be happy. Perhaps that was his guilt. Perhaps because he knew that he messed up, he couldn't deal with this. So it's like that same old scenario. If I can't have you, no one can have you. It's whack. And the fact that you picked up a gun to even approach this situation in such a manner is so weak. And I hope that you are haunted by thoughts of this woman every day for the rest of your life. Crazy story. Crazy, crazy, crazy story. Very sad. I pray for peace for the family. I pray for peace for her young siblings, her daughters. And I really hope that this man receives the full extent of justice that he deserves. Thank you for joining me for another installment of BGU News. As always, please like, share, subscribe, turn your notifications on. Until next time, peace.